The salty ocean spray mingled with the sweet scent of plumeria as Ethan and Sophia stepped off the boat onto Lion Island. Behind them, the rest of their team bustled with excitement, cameras at the ready. This uncharted island off the coast of Tanzania was supposedly cursed, home to vengeful spirits that tormented anyone who set foot there. Locals claimed that even the ocean around the island seemed to be cursed, for ships often found themselves dashed upon its shores, broken and abandoned. "Don't buy into the superstitions, guys," Ethan had said, trying to sound reassuring despite the unease gnawing at his own stomach. "There's nothing here but rocks and dirt and probably a few goats. Nothing to get freaked out about." As they hacked their way through the thick undergrowth, the jungle seemed to press in around them, a suffocating green wall. Strange structures peeked out from the foliage, angular metallic monoliths with glowing eyes and mouths that looked like a cybernetic skull. They resembled nothing so much as some kind of ancient, highly advanced civilization that had gone horribly wrong. "What is this place?" whispered Maya, her voice tight with apprehension. "I don't know," Ethan admitted, his bravado completely vanished. "But it gives me the willies." The dense foliage suddenly gave way to a small clearing. In the center stood a crumbling stone structure, perhaps once a temple or a tomb. And before them on the ground lay a circle of smooth stones, almost like a giant ring. "That's a lion!" breathed Sophia, her eyes wide. It wasn't just any lion. Its eyes glowed like molten steel, and its muscular body was fused with mechanical parts. Wires snaked down its powerful haunch, and a complex network of gears and tubing protruded from its back, crackling with energy. The lion raised its head and let out a deafening roar that reverberated through the clearing. It took a step toward them, then another, its gaze unwavering. Terror rooted Ethan to the spot. He could only stare as the cybernetic lion approached, each of its movements precise and mechanical, like a nightmare version of the robotic vacuums that cleaned his parents' house. This was no animal, no machine. It was some terrifying combination of the two. "Run!" screamed Sophia, breaking the spell that had frozen Ethan in place. She grabbed his hand and pulled him toward the safety of the trees. Branches whipped at their faces as they fled, the lion's angry roars echoing behind them. Bursting through the undergrowth, they stumbled into a small clearing. Panting, they collapsed onto the damp ground, the comforting sounds of the jungle suddenly alien and menacing. "What was that?" Maya asked, her voice trembling. "I don't know," Ethan whispered, fear lending credence to his ignorance. "But we need to get out of here." He helped Sophia up, and together they made their way back to the boat. As they put out into the darkening waters, the sky mirroring the turmoil in their stomachs, Sophia couldn't shake off the feeling that something had changed on the island, something dark and dangerous. Back on the mainland, safe in the bustling town of Zanzibar, they tried to piece together what they had seen on the island. Ethan stared into his water, the image of the mechanical lion seared into his mind. "It's a miracle we got out of there alive," he murmured. "Indeed," Sophia replied, her tone sharp. She hadn't been so shaken in years. Something about the island, about the cybernetic lion, felt profoundly wrong, and she couldn't shake off the feeling that someone, or something, was watching them, waiting for them to make a move. She turned to Ethan, his face pale and drawn in the flickering candlelight. "We need to tell the others," she said, her eyes blazing with urgency. He followed her gaze to the closed door behind which the rest of the team slept peacefully, blissfully unaware of the horrors that lurked on Lion Island. She knew they wouldn't believe her, not without proof, so she and Ethan made a pact to keep watch during the night, to protect the sleeping team until help could arrive. Hours passed, the night stretching before them, heavy and oppressive. Just as Sophia's eyelids began to droop with fatigue, a blood-curdling scream split the night. A single word rasped through the darkness, a word that sent shivers down Sophia's spine, a word that confirmed her worst fears. "Victor." The episode begins with Ethan and Sophia racing through the jungle, their breaths mingling in the humid air. They're not just running from danger, they're running towards each other, diving into a hidden cave just as an arrow whizzes past them. Inside, the walls are adorned with ancient petroglyphs, some depicting strange machines that look eerily familiar to the tech they've been facing off against. Their teammate, Lucas, is nowhere to be seen. And as Ethan and Sophia tend to their wounds, a sense of foreboding settles over them. Suddenly, the ground trembles. A low growl echoes through the cave, and the entrance collapses, sealing their fate. Trapped. In the ensuing chaos, Ethan and Sophia find themselves face to face, their gazes locked in a silent acknowledgement of the danger they face together. With the growling beast now at the mouth of the cave, they exchange a meaningful glance and spring into action. Working together, they navigate a series of traps, narrowly escaping the snapping jaws and razor-sharp claws of the mechanical monstrosity that's been pursuing them. Their movements are in sync, their breaths in harmony, and there's an undeniable spark between them, a connection that transcends their mission and dives deep into the realm of romance. But their teamwork doesn't go unnoticed. Lucas emerges from the shadows, his expression unreadable. He's been watching them, silently judging their every move. When he had disappeared earlier, it was to spy on them, to assess their growing bond. Now, as they stand victorious, he steps into the light, his eyes narrowed. Back at the island's edge, Dr. Hale observes the team through his high-tech binoculars, a cruel smile playing on his lips. His grand entrance has been delayed, but he's pleased with how the night is unfolding. Every trap they set, every close call brings him one step closer to his ultimate goal. Meanwhile, Lucas continues to cast suspicious glances at Ethan and Sophia. They've proven themselves to be formidable, not just as individuals, but as a couple, and Lucas knows that if he's going to complete his mission, he'll have to act fast. As night falls once again, the team gathers around a campfire, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames. Lucas breaks the silence, his voice low and dangerous. He reveals what he's been watching them, accusing Ethan of leading Sophia astray, of jeopardizing their mission for a foolish romance. Ethan, taken aback by the accusation, defends himself, but Lucas won't have it. He knows what he's seen, and he's determined to stop whatever it is that's growing between them. Unbeknownst to them, Dr. Hale watches from afar, his eyes gleaming with amusement. He's been playing them all along, manipulating them into doing his bidding, and now he's ready for the final act of his twisted game. The next morning, the team sets out into the dense foliage, their determination to escape the island undeterred. But Lucas, consumed by his obsession with keeping Ethan and Sophia apart, leads them deeper into the island's treacherous heart. The beautiful scenery becomes a menacing backdrop as they unknowingly inch closer to Dr. Hale's lair. And then they see it, an opening in the trees that reveals a sight both fascinating and terrifying. It's a huge cavern hidden beneath the lush foliage. And descending into its depths, they find themselves in a vast underground laboratory. The place is a labyrinth of steel and shadows, dominated by gigantic robotic lion skeletons that hang from chains like macabre trophies. The only light comes from the cold glow of fluorescent lamps that cast eerie shadows on the walls, revealing more disturbing images of the creatures they've been hunting. Suddenly, the lights flicker and a booming voice echoes through the cavern. "Welcome," says the voice, and the team turns to find the source. It's Dr. Hale, his face pale and gaunt, framed by the eerie glow of the emergency lighting. "Welcome to my creation." With that chilling greeting, the doctor ushers them further into his lair, eager to unveil the terrifying purpose behind his mechanical menagerie. Will our heroes escape the island alive? Can their love survive the test? Or will Dr. Hale's sinister plans prevail? Stay tuned to find out more. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates on our thrilling adventures. Your support means everything to us. So hit that like button and let's embark on this journey together. Your comments keep us going, so drop a comment below and let us know what you think will happen next. Together, we can make this a thrilling ride. So buckle up and get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. As the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, they brought with them a wave of fear and terror that crashed over the island like a tsunami. Dr. Hale, the embodiment of evil, had unleashed his most twisted creation yet. The jungle, once a place of solace and sanctuary, was now a nightmare made real. Hybrid beasts stalked through the undergrowth, a horrifying fusion of lion and machine, their eyes glowing with an eerie, unnatural light. Their roars echoed through the trees, a chilling symphony of menace and aggression. In the face of this new horror, Isabella knew she couldn't afford to lose any more time. She had to get to Hale's mainframe, shut down his systems, and put an end to this nightmare. Every second counted. With nimble fingers flying across the keyboard, she dove deep into Hale's network, navigating through layers of security, each one more robust than the last. It was a race against time, a desperate bid to outsmart a madman who had turned his back on humanity. Meanwhile, Ethan and Sophia found themselves drawn closer together than ever before. They fought side by side, their movements in sync, their determination a beacon in the encroaching darkness. As they battled for survival, they knew this might be their last stand, their final battle in a war that had become increasingly personal. The thought of death, once so distant, now loomed large, casting a long shadow over their actions. And then there was Lucas, his face etched with grim determination. The truth of his past, his former alliance with Hale, was revealed, shattering the illusions that had clouded their perception of him. But from the ashes of that revelation came a resolute spirit, one that had seen the error of its ways and now stood firmly with the team in their final stand. His redemption was a flickering candle in the gathering gloom, offering hope in the darkest of hours. But even as the battle raged and the fate of the island hung in the balance, there was a surprise, a shock, a revelation that transcended the horror of the moment. Dr. Hale, the mastermind behind the unfolding nightmare, emerged from the shadows, not as a frail, defeated scientist, but as the very embodiment of the island's terror. The lion mech, a grotesque fusion of man and mechanical lion, a testament to his hubris and his descent into madness. It was a sight that froze the blood in their veins, a nightmare given form. The final battle was upon them, a clash between good and evil, humanity and monstrosity, and the stakes were nothing less than the survival of the fittest. As the mechanical lion roared, shaking the very foundations of their world, one question echoed in their minds. Could they? Would they prevail? Or was this the end, the final curtain call for humanity on this forsaken island? Stay tuned to find out what happens next in this thrilling battle for survival. Will Ethan and Sophia's love help them defeat the mechanical lion? And can Isabella outsmart Dr. Hale's technology? Or will the island fall into the hands of the mad scientist and his army of beasts? Don't miss the next installment in this action-packed adventure. Thank you for watching and supporting our channel. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue delivering exciting content. So please subscribe and turn on notifications. We've got lots of exciting adventures planned for you, so don't go anywhere. See you in the next video. Ethan dodged another of Hale's energy blasts, the wind snatching the words right out of his mouth. We need to destroy that mainframe. Beside him, Lucas gritted his teeth, readying himself for the next attack. I can't believe he actually thought he could win. It had all started so innocently enough. Just a friendly game of capture the flag, with the added twist of having to navigate an obstacle course created by Hale's robotic creations. But then, the unthinkable had happened. As the last of their group, Ethan and Lucas had been cornered. And in a last-ditch effort to escape, Ethan had made a break for it, only to be met by Hale at the other end. The ensuing fight had been brutal, explosive, and one-sided. Hale was simply too powerful. He had easily swatted them away like pesky flies, until Ethan had an idea. He slid down the metal pole that connected the walkway to the control tower, dropping onto the platform below just as Hale reached him. "Get to the mainframe, Lucas!" he yelled over the roar of the wind, knowing exactly what he had to do. As Lucas disappeared into the maze of tunnels, Ethan kept fighting, drawing Hale further and further away from the mainframe, buying Lucas precious time. Meanwhile, deep within the bowels of Lion Island, Lucas found himself face to face with the source of their troubles, the mainframe itself. It was a massive machine, tendrils of wires snaking out from its sides like the legs of some enormous spider. And at its center pulsed a brilliant blue light, the very essence of Hale's power. Back at the entrance, Ethan's plan was almost up. He could hear the mechanical shrieks of the island's creatures growing louder by the second. They were returning. Hale was winning. With a final blast, he sent Ethan sprawling, then turned and strode towards the entrance, leaving the unconscious boy behind. With a surge of adrenaline, Lucas threw himself at the mainframe, sending sparks flying as he ripped out wire after wire. The blue light at the core pulsed wildly, sensing the threat to its existence. Suddenly, the ground beneath Lucas's feet gave way. He tumbled down a shaft, landing in a heap at the bottom. But there was no time to waste. He scrambled to his feet and ran for the control panel, ignoring the searing pain in his leg. As he fumbled with the controls, he heard the distant roar of Hale's footsteps. The mechanical beasts were coming back online. He had to hurry. Throwing all his weight against the panel, Lucas managed to bring it online. But his victory was short-lived. The control panel was old and in very bad repair. A single wild jolt of electricity shot through him, knocking him unconscious. The blue light at the core flared brightly. It was winning. It would be free. Then suddenly, the entire island shook violently. From deep within the mainframe, a voice boomed, "Who dares disturb my slumber?" Startled, the light shrank back into its shell. Outside, Ethan groaned, pushing himself up on his hands. He could hear the sound of collapsing metal and the screams of the awakened beasts. Then, through the smoke and dust, he saw the most incredible sight. The entire mainframe was glowing brightly, tendrils of wire reaching up towards the collapsing ceiling like the arms of some enormous spider. And in the center, the blue light burned with renewed intensity. Suddenly, the floor beneath Ethan's feet gave way. He fell, tumbling down a shaft, landing at the base of the mainframe. Gasping for breath, he watched in awe as the core began to glow even brighter. Then, with a deafening roar, it exploded, taking the entire mainframe with it. Outside, the mechanical beasts collapsed into silence, their gears grinding to a halt. The island was still, the only sound the gentle lapping of waves against the shore. On the beach, Ethan and Sophia sat huddled together, battered but alive. Between them lay Lucas, his hand still resting on the control panel. A small smile played on his lips. As the first rays of sunrise lit the horizon, Sophia whispered softly, "Lion Island may have fallen, but our hearts survived."